Hello and welcome to another edition of Retro Play Call. I'm Steve, and I'm going to be announcing another old Major League Baseball game, this one from 1989, between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. You may be asking, why are you giving play-by-play commentary over a game from 25, 35, however many years ago? It's like 35 years old now. Why are you doing this? Well, I'm starting up a second channel, and it is going to be a Baltimore Orioles reaction channel following every game for the upcoming 2024 season. That's the goal. I'm transitioning from another form of content on YouTube into this. I'm a lifelong Orioles fan, rabid fan, and after last season, just sort of inspired me like I felt when I was 12 years old in 1989 with a team that came from no expectations to absolutely, put on a magical season. So with the upcoming season and with having a little YouTube experience under my belt, live streaming and whatnot, I'm going to start doing play-by-play for Oriole games this season. And I feel the best way to prepare myself for that is to get a little practice in. So what better way to do that than to dig through the YouTube archives, where one can find an array of old games from the 80s and 90s, which were, that was right in the heart of my childhood. So a lot of fond memories from that era. Hello, Cameron, there in chat. So this is the first game. This is the third game I'm doing for the channel, and the first one from the 1989 season, the infamous Why Not season. If you're a baseball historian, you are pretty well aware that in 1988, the Orioles suffered an 0-21 start to their season, a start of which I don't think will ever be repeated again. I mean, you look at how bad the Oakland A's were coming into this past season. Nobody expected them to lose any less than like 105, 110 games. But they never came close to a 21-game losing streak. Never mind the first 21 games. But it's that season when I was 11 years old in 1988, and that streak that made Baltimore the laughing stock of the nation. It inspired me to back the Orioles. I'd grown up with only a little bit of baseball knowledge at the time. I'd watch the World Series when it came on. I saw the Mets play, the Red Sox and the ground ball through Buckner's legs and all that. I think I was only, 9 years old then. And, of course, in 88, Kirk Gibson's home run off Eckersley. So, I had a taste of baseball, and I saw the excitement of it. But for whatever reason, growing up in PG County, Maryland, with D.C. having football and Baltimore having baseball, I grew up in an environment where things leaned more towards Washington sports. But that 1988 Orioles team, who lost 21 games in a row to start the season, I immediately adopted them and wanted to see them just come back from such a low point and succeed. And in 1989, they came damn near close. They got all the way to the final weekend of the season in a 3-game series with the Blue Jays. Had they won 2 out of 3, they take the division and go from worst to first in one of the greatest turnarounds in the history of professional sports. However, it didn't work out for us. The Blue Jays wound up taking 2 out of 3 and went on to the postseason. But before we get to that heartbreaking final series, the Orioles did do some business in the 1989 season. So today we're going to be watching a game from August 26th, 1989. It's a NBC Saturday afternoon game of the week, which will match up these Orioles against the New York Yankees in the Bronx. On the mound for Baltimore is Davey Johnson, a veteran journeyman who was part of that magical storyline for these Orioles. I'm going to go ahead and get this started here. By the way, hello, Thomas. Hello, Steel City. And hello, Cameron. Guys, I'm sure you can hear a bit of bleed over from the broadcast, but I just want to be sure you don't hear it too well. A little bit of bleeding is fine. And also, for anybody watching this later, keep in mind this is a VHS copy of a ball game from 35 years ago. The quality is not pristine, but I kind of like it that way. There's a shot of Dave Johnson on the bench as Cal Ripken's being interviewed by who is that? Who's on the call here? Here's Phil Bradley. All right, so yeah, let me tell you about what we got lined up here, and I got to remember not to click on this. So this is a lot to do with me just getting some practice in. I got 3 likes, but only one person stuck around. Nobody was even ready to see one pitch. Right, okay, I'm going to treat this like I'd actually would as a broadcast, at least my attempt. Coming into this ball game, the Orioles are in first place by a game and a half over the Toronto Blue Jays with a record of 69-60, 9 games over 500. The Yankees, meanwhile, are 11 and a half games back and struggling mightily in this 1989 season. When we get to the lineups, you might see why. But then again, you look at the Orioles lineup and you wonder, how the heck did this team... was that Tony Kubek? All right, yeah, and the quality of this is absolutely fantastic. Well, here we go. Here's a look at your Orioles starting lineup. Phil Bradley will lead off and play left field. Then Stan Jefferson in center. Kyle Ripken Jr. is in the 3-hole, playing short. Joe Orsulak, the cleanup hitter, in right. The designated hitter is Keith Moreland. Jim Traber at first. Tim Hewlett will play third and bat 7th. The catcher today is Jamie Quirk. And rounding it out, batting 9th, is Rene Gonzalez. On the mound for the Yankees is Walt Terrell. And Terrell is having a terrible season thus far with an ERA well over 6. You have to have a play on names. Well, go right ahead. Play away as we get set to go here on this Saturday afternoon game and enjoy the lovely first pitch strike there from Terrell on the outside corner to Phil Bradley. Yes, I have no idea what the VHS quality is going to be for this game, but I'm happy to see plenty of... wow. I might have picked a bad one. The next pitch to Bradley is, I think, swung on and grounded to short. Up with it and over to first in time to retire the leadoff man. What's going on, Aces? What's going on, everybody? So that was Alvaro Espinoza making the play at short. He's got those birth control glasses on that were popular in the day. Honestly, somebody please adjust the tracking. Here's a look at the Yankee defense. You got Mel Hall in left, Roberto Kelly in center, Jesse Barfield out in right, Hensley Mullins at third, Alvaro Espinoza at short, Steve Sachs at second, Mattingly at first. Behind the plate is Bob Guerin, and of course Walt Terrell on the mound as Stan Jefferson, the Orioles' left-hand hitting center fielder, steps in and he takes one low. And the count 2-0. On the young Stan Jefferson, who's batting just $167, but getting a chance to start today. He takes a look at a called strike. And speaking of taking a look, my God, can my eyes withstand this sort of picture quality? The next pitch to him is lined up the middle, a base hit. A solid rope straight back where it came from, and Jefferson is on first with one down. Terrell left that one right over the plate. And Jefferson smacks it straight back up the middle. And that should bump up his 143 average quite nicely, I would hope. That's going to bring up the Orioles' Iron Man, the face of the franchise, perhaps the face of Major League Baseball itself, Cal Ripken Jr. Ripken was there to suffer the slings and arrows of the '88 season where the Orioles started 0-21, currently batting .268 with 17 homers. And there you can see that closed stance of his. Ripken known throughout his career for changing his stance, sometimes from season to season, sometimes from game to game, sometimes from pitch to pitch. You can't argue with the results. He was a first ballot unanimous Hall of Fame selection after a brilliant career and an ambassador to the sport. Jefferson takes his lead off first as Ripken looks at a called strike. Jefferson does have good speed out there. Cal looks down at his father, coaching third, Cal Sr. Claps his hands a couple of times. I think he gave him some sort of body language that would indicate, you're hitting third, kid, and you're the best hitter in the lineup, so just hit the ball hard. The 1-1 of Ripken. First, there's a check on Jefferson. He's back in standing. No problem over there. Jefferson playing with the dirt around the area, trying to establish a firm grip with his feet to get a good jump. Whether he intends to steal, play hit and run. The grounds crew apparently was called upon to maybe straighten out some of the clumps of dirt out there, but he was immediately called back. Oh, I guess he needed a bucket. Our first delay of the game as the groundskeeper comes out with a little bit more sand, a little more dirt. This stuff's a little drier, and hopefully will mix in with the clumpier infield dirt out there and make things easier for the base runner. As we take a look at Bucky Dent in the Yankee dugout. There's a guy who's seen a thing or two. Either way, we got a delay here, and I currently have nobody watching. This is how I like it. Now I can relax. As we take a look at the 11 different managers that have come and gone during the George Steinbrenner era, and this only runs up to 1989. And this delay is going on much longer than originally anticipated as the groundskeeper finally picks up his rake and bucket and heads off the field. Forget the pitch clock. Can we get a grounds crew clock? So Jefferson, doesn't really matter if he's satisfied with the conditions now on the base paths or not. They stopped the game for several minutes to address it, and he'll take what he can get. He's got a pretty good lead out there, and Ripken grounds one to the opposite side, just barely getting through the infield, and hits so slowly that Jefferson is going to motor over to third with no problem at all. So a slow roller on the ground on the second base side for Ripken. And the Orioles have a rally going here with runners at the corners and only one out. The ball almost hit Jefferson. He had to take a little bit of a leap. Hit very slowly, though. And that'll bring up Joe Orsulak, coming in with a .281 average, 4 homers, 47 RBI. Hitting in the cleanup hole today. RBI spot right now. He almost looked as if he was going to square to bunt and takes the first pitch, apparently a little bit off the plate. What do the Orioles have up their sleeve as Orsulak takes a look down at Cal Ripken Sr. at third base? Now with a 1-0 count, the pitch is swung on and grounded foul off to the left, nubbed off the bottom of the bat. Orsulak typically hits at the top of the order, normally not hitting in a cleanup spot, but it's a pretty light hitting lineup for the Orioles today. Day game after a night game. The pitch is fouled back off to the left. Good crowd here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx on a sunny day here in late August. See if I can get an idea of the temperature out there. Well, I do know that the start time was at 2:25 and the attendance was 38,021 people. Couldn't tell you the weather, though, temperature-wise. Either way, Orsilac still hanging in there, looking to try to get the first run on the board, perhaps more. The pitch from Terrell is inside, actually tailed back over the inside corner, nearly. Orsilac, though, with his body language, helped turn what might have been a borderline call into a ball. That ball looked like it was going to hit him on the belt, then tailed back over near the outside corner, but not quite enough to catch the plate. Here comes the 2-2, and it's up and away, and Orsilac reaches for it. It's going to be a fly ball out to left. Here comes Jefferson to score, and his speed helps, as that play wasn't even close. It wasn't hit too deep to left. Relatively shallow, if anything. But Jefferson scored without a play at the plate, and the Orioles take the early lead here 1-0. Sacrifice fly for Joe Orsilac. Run scored for Stan Jefferson. Let's see if Ripken had a chance to advance to second on the play. No, he's still there at first. So with 2 down, that'll bring up Keith Moreland, hitting .285, 6 homers, 41 driven in. Moreland way off the plate and reaches for one and will tap it on the ground to short. The force play at second to end the inning, but the Orioles do strike first here in the top of the first. A couple of hits, a sac fly, and at the end of half an inning, it's the Orioles 1, the Yankees coming up. The Yankee lineup looks like this. Steve Sachs will lead it off. Alvaro Espinoza, his keystone partner, will hit second. Don Mattingly hitting third. Mel Hall, the cleanup man in left field. Phelps is your DH. Jesse Barfield will play right and bat sixth. Roberto Kelly in center hitting seventh. Who's that? Bob Guerin batting eighth. And Hensley Mullins in the 9-hole playing third. On the mound for the Orioles, the reclamation of reclamation projects, Dave Johnson, the 29-year-old who's spent most of the past decade fighting his way through the minors, has had a cup of coffee both with the Pirates and then last year with the Orioles. Gets called up here mid-season to replace a spot in the rotation and has been serviceable. A 3-2 record. Baltimore native as well. That's a good home story. The pitch is over the plate and grounded up the middle. Cal Ripken fields it cleanly over the first in time. Boy, the grounds crew really had, maybe it's based on the clumps of dirt. Perhaps it rained the night before, but the ball seems to be moving noticeably slow on the ground in the infield. Mr. Consistency, Cal Ripken, getting some extra camera time after making a relatively routine play. And Johnson's first offering here to Alvaro Espinoza is on the outside corner for a called strike. A nice breaking ball there for Johnson. And his next pitch is over the plate and hit in the right field. Orsilac doesn't have to venture too far to make a routine catch. And there are 2 down. Johnson, by no means a strikeout pitcher. In fact, I can pull up his stats right here. So with 2 down here, and here comes Don Mattingly, hitting .295, and for him, that's bad. It's his career low at this stage of a season. Hits this one to the opposite field, and it's going to be a can of corn there for the Orioles, who get out of this rather quickly. An easy inning for Dave Johnson. And we get started here quickly in the top half of the second. Jim Traber stepping in for the Orioles, hitting .232, 4 homers, 25 driven in. Looks at a strike. It's count 1-1. Traber has been somewhat in a platoon system with Randy Milligan at first. Next pitch is a little bit off the plate outside. 1-1. Traber, the big left-handed swinger, while Milligan bats from the right side. The next pitch from Terrell is fouled back. 1-2 on Traber, leading it off here in the top of the second. Again, if you're tuning in, this is a retro play call of a 1989 game between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. My name's Steve. I've started a new Orioles channel. I plan on covering games this coming season, and I'm getting some practice in by calling some old games. When games are being called for the upcoming season, please keep in mind you won't be seeing the actual video of the action. I'm not allowed to do that. Here's the payoff pitch to Traber, fouled back. What you will see is a graphic from maybe MLB.com, Yahoo, or something of that sort that will give you a sort of illustration readout of what's happening in the game as a visual aid to go along with my commentary. And Traber strikes out. He heads back to the bench. As we take a look at the Orioles who are currently on the shelf, Steve Finley, Bill Ripken, Mickey Tettleton, to name a few. That's why we have Jamie Quirk catching. That's why we have Jefferson in center field and not Finley. And that's probably why we have Tim Hewlett in the lineup instead of Bill Ripken. Either way, we're back underway here. And, yeah, I didn't think Traber had lost in that bat. Apparently he had to go get a new bat. So there's a call I completely blew, even though I'm staring at the game. Traber went and got a new bat. I'm not sure what the count is, to be honest. And he works a walk. I'm going to guess the count was full. It was a pretty long at bat. He fouled a couple pitches off. So after working the count full, Traber takes a walk. And that'll bring up Tim Hewlett, hitting in the 7 hole. Not exactly much in the power department from this guy. He does have 1 home run so far in this season. Apparently this was the stage of the season where he got called up just a few games earlier to replace the injured Bill Ripken. First pitch to him is right over there, right over the plate for a called strike. A long look down at third. You don't see it this much these days anymore. It's not really a situational. Well, you do have Traber at first. Maybe you get a hit and run call, but that's normally a little later in the count. Here's a tapper along the third base side, and it's going to dribble into foul ground. As Hewlett will head back to the plate, pick up his bat, and resume his at-bat. There's a look at Hall of Fame Triple Crown winner, MVP in both leagues, Frank Robinson. The man behind this team that has somehow managed to go from worst to first place, a game and a half ahead of the Blue Jays as of today, August 26, 1989. And currently with a 1-0 lead in the early going here in the Bronx. Here's the 0-2 to Hewlett. He reaches for one upstairs and is able to foul it back. Traber at first. Again, a look at the standings. The Orioles with that 1.5 game lead over the Blue Jays. A 1-game lead in the loss department. If they win the day, they'll go 10 games over 500. This one is well off the plate. 1-2 the count on Tim Hewlett. Runner at first, nobody out. The Orioles have a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second. The pitch is inside. Count even up at 2-2. Not much to worry about over there at first in terms of base stealing. Traber, a husky man without a whole lot of speed. How you doing there, Rhino? But the Orioles could be putting on the hit and run with a 2-2 count. The pitch from Terrell is well off the plate outside, but it tails back over the outside corner. Called strike 3, and Tim Hewlett can't believe it. Let's take a look at the movement on that pitch. That ball looked half a foot off the plate outside and tails back over the corner. I mean, I'll give Terrell all the credit in the world for a very aesthetically pleasing looking pitch, but that might have been a generous call for the pitcher there. And Hewlett goes back to the bench. Hello, Rhino and Steele. So with one out now, that'll bring up the Orioles catcher Jamie Quirk. There's a lot of baseball players out there with quirky names. Well, he literally has one. And he's got the sort of offensive stats you'd expect from a backup catcher. He's hitting a .146, a home run and 2 RBI. The pitch swung on the line up the middle, base hit. So Quirk gets a chance to play and smacks one right up the middle. He literally smacks it up the middle, literally. So runners at first and second now with one away. Did you make bingo, Rhino? I love it. I love it, man. So 2 on for the Orioles. They've already got a 1-0 lead here in the top of the second as Walt Terrell works himself into trouble yet again. I hate watching. It's boring. I'm going to make it not boring, Steele. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it not boring. You watch. Once the real action gets underway, I'm telling you, I'm going to be just tensed up with every pitch. 2 on for the number 9 man, Rene Gonzalez. Terrell takes a look at the runner at second. The pitch, his first pitch swinging into right field. It's going to drop in. And Traber will have to hold up at third. He's not too fleet of foot, but the Orioles now have the bases loaded. Already ahead 1-0, and Walt Terrell's in a lot of trouble. And it looks like we're going to get a conference here at the catcher out on the mound. I don't know why I could never get into college football. I think I blame it on the fact that I grew up between Washington and Baltimore, and just we have good college teams like for basketball, Maryland, Georgetown, but just not known for their football. I can't wait for the season either. Cannot wait. And I can't wait for the Orioles to make a couple of personnel moves and bring in some players here. You might not have heard the news, but Luis Castillo, the Mariners pitcher, a pretty solid starter. Here's a first pitch just off the outside of the plate. Looked like a slider there from Terrell. As Phil Bradley comes up with a big RBI spot, hitting .277, 9 homers, 49 driven in. The next offering is swung on and fouled back. A ball and a strike on the Oriole left fielder. You got Traber at third, Quirk at second, and Rene Gonzalez over at first. Yankees hoping for a double play ball, you would think. But they'll take a strikeout if they can get it. Here's the pitch to Bradley. Swung on and tapped to third. They're going to try to go home, and they will get the force. But that's all they'll get, as it turns into a fielder's choice. Bradley will take first as Quirk moves up to third and Gonzalez to second. Traber thrown out at home on the force play. A more difficult play than people tend to give credit for. When you got that base runner going down the line, last thing you want to do is throw it into his back. So it's a pretty thin throwing lane. But Hensley Mullins makes a pretty good play there. And up steps Stan Jefferson for his second plate appearance today. He had a base hit in his first plate appearance, which, given his average, has raised it 30 points with that one hit. It is 1989. Do expect to see your fair share of mullets. Here's a pitch. It's up and away. And you can hear the Yankee crowd getting restless as we get a shot of the crowd. There's a lot of Bronx cheering going on in the Bronx right now. Well, Don Mattingly basically had a mullet. Here's a ground ball to second, one hop, routine play, and the Yankees are able to escape the inning without giving up a run. Walt Terrell was in the thick of it. And look who we have sitting here in the ballpark. It's none other than Joe DiMaggio. First pitch from Davey Johnson is a breaking ball fouled back. DiMaggio in the stands, sitting next to a guy with a pair of blue blocker sunglasses that look straight out of Tron. I hope we get another look at that. Anyway, we got Mill Hall in here with an 0-1 count. And Johnson kicks and deals. Another, I was going to say breaking ball with Johnson. He's not a power pitcher. Sometimes his fastball looks like a breaking ball for another pitcher. That's a fastball that's off the outside corner. Dave Johnson is on the mound. You would have to be not only an Orioles fan, but like a diehard Orioles fan that's at least 40 years old to know who this guy is. Because he basically had one successful season in the majors. He pitched in the minors for nearly a decade before this particular season, where he would go on to win 13 games. And he didn't even break camp with the team. He was called up to replace another injured starter in the rotation. After giving that explanation about Davey Johnson, I have no idea what the count is on Mel Hall, but here comes the next pitch. And it's over the plate, and Hall is going to tag it into left. Phil Bradley with a long run. It's going to be in there for extra bases. Hall will glide into second, standing, as Bradley gets it back in. And the Yankees have their first extra base hit of the ball game. An opposite field double from Mel Hall. Why this one thing won't let me... All right, I just need to do this. Just do it like that, and then I'll be fine. Okay. Okay. Here comes Ken Phelps. Here's another player with those classic late 80s birth control glasses and the giant mustache. Boy, there's a baseball card you want. Phelps, the designated hitter, hits from the left side. So he's in there for his bat. And playing here in the Bronx with that lefty power swing, you're always looking to park one into the short porch in right field. Takes a few waves of the bat as Johnson waits to get the sign. He sets from the stretch, and the pitch is upstairs. The Yankees here looking to tie the ball game up with the runner out at second base in a 1-0 game. There's a look at the Yankee dugout. Dave Righetti. Fun fact, Righetti, the only professional ball player to have a name that rhymes with spaghetti. Actually, I take that back. There was a guy named Mike Aldretti. I guess that rhymes. It's as close to spaghetti as you'll get, okay? Okay, so Johnson, after giving up the double, has fallen behind 3-0 here on Phelps. So, dangerous situation here, and he gets the call. Finds the zone there, inner half, about belt high. And the count 3-1. Johnson laboring out there, taking a long time between pitches with a runner on base. Here's a called strike on the outside corner. Beautiful location there by Johnson to get back into the count and run it full. Nobody out. Tying run at second. And a payoff pitch coming here to Phelps. Johnson looks at Hall. The pitch. Swung on and missed. So Johnson, not known for his strikeouts, only averages a few per 9. Well, he got a big one there. After falling behind 3-0 to Phelps, he comes back to strike him out with a high fastball. Phelps tried to give it an uppercut swing, but couldn't reach it. Again, those glasses, that mustache, it's tragic. It's absolutely tragic, but you got to love it. So with one down, that'll bring up the right fielder, Jesse Barfield. Barfield hits from the right side. That was a huge at-bat. He had a runner at second, nobody out, as the tying run, a hitter up there with a 3-0 count. You would expect, in that situation, for the Yankees to execute at least something to move the runner to third. Instead, Phelps strikes out. Hall stays put at second. And Johnson has a chance to work his way out of a leadoff double without any damage. He's got the sign. The next pitch to Barfield is taken a little high. Falls behind Barfield 2-0. Barfield, the average is down to 242. He's got 21 homers, 61 driven in. And they said this one was high, just a bit above the belt. The rule book says that's a strike, but you know how it is. The next pitch is popped up on the infield. Sky high. Cal Ripken calls off the rest of his teammates to make the catch. And the Orioles have forced the Yankees to 2 outs here. And it'll be up to Roberto Kelly to try to knock in his teammate Mel Hall out there at second. And with Quirk standing up, as we get a look at Mickey Mantle in the booth. We had a shot of DiMaggio and Mantle. Everybody's dead now. Well, they were alive when I was a kid. I got to see them in the flesh. on screen. Screen flesh. Here's Roberto Kelly. 2 down, runner at second, and a breaking ball drops low and in. Quirk puts his fingers down, going through the signs. Johnson checks the runner. Here comes the next pitch, and it's on the outside corner for a strike. The ever stoic Frank Robinson. Not so stoic during his playing days. He was as fierce a competitor as you'll find. But as a manager, your temperament needs to adjust accordingly. And Frank has done an excellent job with this 89 team. Here's the next pitch. It's inside, maybe a little high. Roberto Kelly heading all the way down into the 7th spot of what's a pretty light lineup. And Kelly's going to step out as Johnson takes too long to get his sign. Roberto frickin' Kelly. Yeah, he had a few seasons, didn't he? They had him hitting third. I was watching. Oh, it gets inside and it hits him right in the back, and Kelly goes down in a heap. I mean, Dave Johnson only throws about 90 miles an hour with the fastball. Of course, that doesn't feel good to anybody. But I can tell you this from experience. Getting hit with a 90-mile-an-hour pitch versus, say, 98, 99, it's a pretty big difference. I'm looking at where this hits Kelly. It's square in the back. I mean, unless it hit him right on the spine. Which is possible. That looked dead center in the back. Unfortunately for Kelly, he turned his body just so. Had he not turned it as much as he did, it would have caught him on the side with a lot more flesh. But he looks okay over there at first base. I'm sure he's not happy. As the Yankees have a base runner at first and second now. Hall at second, Kelly at first. And the batter will be the catcher, Bob Guerin. Johnson steps off the mound for a second. There's a look at the base runners. I'm listening to some Mickey Mantle stories in the broadcast here. This one's low and away from Johnson. So Guerin coming in. Again, he's been in a secondary role as the Yankees catcher, but has been great at the plate. Again, there's a look at Joe DiMaggio having a snack next to a guy with the most ridiculous sunglasses I've ever seen. Here comes the pitch. Over the plate and a big swing and a miss there. A breaking ball that Guerin could not square up. Good old Yankee Stadium. It was pretty old, but it's a lot better than the new one. That's just me. 2 out. The 1-1 pitch is off the plate outside. 2-1. Tying run at second. Go ahead, run at first. We're only in the bottom of the second here. Excuse me. Bottom of the third, I think. I believe we're in the bottom of the third. The pitch is a breaking ball that's lifted in the air, left center field. A long run back for the center fielder, Jefferson, but he'll make the catch out there near the 399-foot sign. And it is the second inning. So the Yankees have batted all the way around. And here's a shot of the Mick sitting between Bob Costas and is that Tony Kubek? The Mick liked to, he liked to drink. The man liked to drink. But he's a baseball legend. What are you going to do? Leading off for the Orioles, speaking of legends, here's Cal Ripken, and he'll take a look at a curveball for a called strike to lead things off here in the top of the third against Walt Terrell. Terrell has given up just the 1 run, but he's given up 4 hits already and got it out of a bases-loaded jam in the last inning. The next pitch is swung on and hit in the air. Center field, but not too deep. Kelly camps under it, makes the catch. 1 away. Yeah, Cal who? As Ripken jogs back to the dugout. Here comes Joe Orsulak, who's got the only RBI of the game on a sac fly back in the first. The first pitch to him is a breaking ball over the plate but low for ball 1. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Rhino. The next offering clips the inside corner for a called strike. 1-1 on Joe Orsulak. The next one's outside. So if nothing else, Terrell's working a little quicker than Johnson is. Orsulak's average currently at 281. Here's the next offering, and it's inside. Orsulak works the count to a hitter's count here. It's 3-1. I'm stumbling a lot. I got to just be able to let the call come out. It's like I'm trying to call it a half second before it happens. A check swing, but it's a called strike on the outside corner, and that'll run the count full now. 1 down, and the payoff pitch to Orsulak is line foul over there to the right. Look out over there by the tarp. The ball boy makes the play rather cleanly. All right, we're getting set here for another 3-2 pitch. And it's swung on in line in the right center, a base hit. Kelly will field it on a couple of bounces and get it back in. A solid single by Orsulak. And with 1 down, that'll bring up the Orioles DH, Keith Moreland. As we continue to listen to, and by we I mean me, Mickey Mantle tells stories in the booth. There you go. They're throwing up the graphic of his name just to let you know who's talking. It's the Mick. It's Mickey friggin' Mantle. All right, here's Moreland now. First, they're going to check the runner. Orsulak back. Orsulak's got above average speed. He's not a... He's not the Flash, but he can steal the occasional bag. The next pitch is lined into left field and deep. It's going back and just short. It's going to hit the base of the wall. Orsulak is motoring into third, and it'll be a double for Keith Moreland. That ball was lasered. Just didn't have enough height to get out of there, despite the short wall. A double for Keith Moreland as a fan tried to reach over and grab it. Is your name Jeffrey Mayer? That's the right field wall, okay? So Terrell cannot seem to get through an inning without having a lot of trouble. After getting the bases loaded in the second, he's now got runners at second and third here in the third. And here's a breaking ball way off the plate. Terrell lost his release point there. So you have Orsulak at third, Moreland at second, And Jim Traber is at the plate, and he has a 1-0 count. And this one's up and away, 2-0. You got a base open at first. There is some equity, perhaps, in sort of pitching around Traber here and maybe setting up some force plays. The next pitch upstairs, and it does look like Terrell isn't thrilled about giving Traber anything to hit as the count moves to 3-0. Hello, Giants fan. Good to see you. Second and third. And the 3-0 is well off the plate, and it was definitely a pitch around there, as Terrell did not want to give Traber anything. What this does do, though, is set up the double play, a force at any base, and much like the previous inning when the Orioles loaded the bases, Terrell is hoping to, stop a runner at the plate, turn a double play, get a strikeout. What he did not want to do was give Traber, the left-handed hitter, anything to hit. But as you can see through this pitch line, already up to 53 pitches. Lots of hits, a couple of walks. And to this point, amazing, he's only given up the 1 run. Here's the first pitch now to Tim Hewlett, who takes a called strike. And to be fair, the drop-off in slugging between the left-handed hitting Traber and the right-handed hitting Hewlett is significant. So I do understand the move, but Terrell needs to get Hewlett out here. The 0-1 pitch is lined off of Hewlett. It just lay there a couple of feet in front of the plate as a foul ball. Terrell playing with fire in each of the first 3 innings. Will the dam burst here? Jamie Quirk is on deck. The bags are juiced. There's only 1 down, and the pitch is well off the plate outside. Hewlett was not interested in chasing that. Hewlett needs to understand his job here. Just needs to get the ball in play. Pretty good speed at third with Orsulak, so you don't have to hit the ball too deep for a sac fly. This one's tapped foul off to the left as Hewlett stays alive. And Terrell's pitch count continues to climb as we're only in the 3rd inning and he's approaching 60 pitches. Now, was pitch count much of a consideration in the 1989 era? No. But Terrell is definitely struggling. Here's the next pitch. It's hit on the ground, past the diving third baseman, and finds a hole in left field. It's picked up, but 2 runs are going to come in and... Oh, wait. Did they get him at... Is he safe? Moreland apparently is safe at the plate. The second run to score on the base hit. Oh, what a play at the plate there. Of course, this is before the era of before the era of official replay. We can, of course, watch a replay of the play at the plate here and see exactly what happened. It was fielded cleanly out there and left, and a good, accurate throw to the plate. Moreland comes in on an angle with a slide, and look at that. What a great run by Moreland. He started on the foul side of the third base line and realized the ball was coming that way, moved toward the inside of the plate, and then slid with only his hand grazing the plate, giving the catcher nothing to tag. A really nice slide there by Moreland. And the Orioles now lead 3-0. A 2-run single from Tim Hewlett. Here's Jamie Quirk. He takes low and in. 3 runs on 7 hits already here in the 3rd. So Terrell, again, playing with fire by pretty much intentionally walking Jim Traber to get to Hewlett, winds up giving up the base hit. But to be fair, it was a slow hit ground ball that just found the perfect hole. If it was hit 1 foot to the left, 1 foot to the right, could have been a double play, could have been a force out at home. Hey, it's the Candyman. John Candelaria, the lefty, is getting loose out there in the Yankee bullpen. Terrell just doesn't have it today. Again, 7 hits already here, and we're only in the 3rd inning. Here's a fastball that nails the inside corner, called strike. Quirk had a base hit in his first at-bat. A single up the middle. Count 1-2 on him. Still only 1 out here. And Terrell is laboring. The crowd also sounding rather restless. And somebody's got to call for time. Everyone's just standing around. Looks like we've reestablished things. Terrell looks in for a sign. And the pitch is up and away, not even close. Terrell has to be taken out of this ball game. I don't know how much time Candelaria needs to get loose, but if the Yankees have any designs on coming back in this game, they would be better served in removing Terrell as quickly as possible. Here's one that's over the plate low, but it's reached for, and the Yankees are going to turn a double play out of it. Are you kidding me? So Terrell is bailed out by a double play ball that Jamie Quirk really should not have offered at. That ball was about 2 inches off the ground. He beat it into the ground and helped the Yankees get out of the inning. But the Orioles tack on a couple more runs, and as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, they lead this one 3-0. It'll be the 9-1 and 2 hitters due up for the pinstripes. Hensley Mullins, the first of those batters, takes a look at a breaking ball outside for ball 1. The next pitch from Johnson clips the outside corner. A nice 2-seamer that tailed back over the outside corner. The count even at 1-1. Next pitch. This one misses the outside part of the plate. 2-1. Johnson working quickly right now. It's amazing how different he is when runners get on base. The next pitch is fouled away. Two count to the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 3rd. To the number 9 hitter, Hensley Mullins. Johnson gets a new baseball, rubs it up, picks up the rosin bag, scratches the back of his head, kicks some dirt in front of the rubber, does all the little quirky things you expect a pitcher to do. Now he's ready, and the pitch is fouled back. Apparently the Orioles at this stage of the season were working with a 4-man rotation, according to Bob Costas, and I would guess that those 4 men, Bob Malacky, Jeff Ballard, and Dave Johnson. Here's a fly ball into right field. It's going to drop in there in front of Joe Orsulak. So it's a leadoff single here by Mullins, the last position player to get in that bat in this game. Makes his presence felt as the Yankees look to try to rally. They're down 3-0 here. As we flip the batting order back to the top, it'll be Steve Sachs. Again, if you're tuning in at some point, This is a retro play call of a game in 1989 between the Orioles and Yankees. And here's a bunt laid down, but wisely, Hewlett over at third, watches it trickle into foul ground. As Sachs, who's notorious for his bunting skills, couldn't quite keep this one in fair territory. Just a bit of English on it to get it to roll in the foul ground. And Hewlett picks it up quickly before it has a chance to go back fair. Sachs, just making his way back to the plate, handed his bat. Hitting a healthy .323 at the top of this Yankee order. Runner at first, nobody out. The Yankees looking to get on the board here, down 3-0. And a check on the runner, pretty close over there. But Mullins sneaks back in. Couple of 28s over there at the first base bag. Mullins takes a couple of steps to get a lead, and the next pitch is lined into left field, a base hit, and it's going to go down the line. Mullins going to motor around second. He'll head to third. Let's see how quickly Bradley fields. He does so well and is able to keep Mullins at third. But it's a double, and the Yankees have something cooking here in the bottom of the third. Runners at second and third and nobody out. That is the 170th hit of the season for Sachs, which leads all of Major League Baseball. So while the Yankees as a team are scuffling in the AL East, it's been a banner year for Sachs at the top of their lineup. I wholeheartedly agree, Jeff. Second and third, nobody out. And here's Alvaro Espinoza. Dave Johnson now has to work out of this jam. This is an inside-out swing, but it's not going to get past the second baseman. But wait, he drops it. He's still able to get Espinoza at first. Rene Gonzalez fumbled the flare, hit his way, but it didn't hurt the Orioles. It did not hurt the Orioles. The runner at third did not get far enough down the line to make a break for the plate. So no harm, no foul for Baltimore there. Pretty lucky situation. Now there's one out, still runners at second and third, and the batter Don Mattingly. The pitch upstairs. A breaking ball that hung up there, and Mattingly laid off. This is the guy the Yankees won at the plate in this situation, as Quirk comes out for a quick conference with Johnson. Keep in mind, Ken Phelps, who struck out after having the benefit of a 3-0 count in his first at-bat, is on deck. So if Johnson isn't thrilled about it pitching to Mattingly here, he could try to pitch around him. This one's up and in a little bit. Mattingly lays off. So it's a bit of a similar situation that Walt Terrell found himself in the top half of the inning, where he sort of pitched around Jim Traber. That wound up coming back to bite him. Let's see what Johnson does here with Mattingly. This one's lined hard but foul. Mattingly got out in front of the fastball. Absolutely crushed it, but too far out in front. And I'm sure that's going to make Dave Johnson think again about giving Mattingly anything to hit here. Tying run at third, or excuse me, it's 3-0 Orioles. Runners at second and third. Tying run at the plate. And the next pitch is inside to Mattingly. Count moves to 3-1. Again, what do you do here? You got a player on deck who you struck out last time versus the dangerous Mattingly with a 3-1 count. And he gives him a pitch to hit. He grounds it to second. Again, Gonzalez bobbles it, and this time he can't recover. Mattingly will reach, a runner will score, and what on earth was that nonsense from Rene Gonzalez? Absolute nonsense. You would think his head would be a little more in the game after just having made a play that almost cost them a run, and now he does cost them a run. Absolutely fumbling his way around the baseball. And you have to think the confidence of Rene Gonzalez has to be completely shaken. He's hoping there isn't another ball hit his way in this inning, I can tell you that much. Well, here we go now. Mel Hall at the plate, and he's going to hit it in the center. And it's going to be a sac fly situation coming in to score, and the Yankees are on the board. Jefferson made the catch in center, but it was way too deep to try and get the runner out. Donnie Baseball. That's a good nickname to have. If his nickname was like Donnie Hockey, it'd be very weird. And there's the speed of Hensley Mullins. I think that's Mullins. Oh, no, it was Steve Sachs. That was Steve Sachs hauling butt down the third base line to score on the sac fly. So now the Yankees have made it a 3-2 ball game. The tying runs at first, and here's Phelps, who struck out his first time up. The pitch is low and away, and Phelps reaches for it. It's going to be a can of corn out there and left. And that will end the inning. But the Yankees do battle back. After giving up a couple of runs in the top half of the third, they battle back for two of their own. The Orioles have a 3-2 lead as we head to the fourth. And you know how it goes. When you see a great defensive play, they always lead off the next inning. Here's Gonzalez, who made terrible defensive plays, leading off and grounding out on one pitch. Not the most impressive contribution so far from Rene Gonzalez in this game. 2 plays in the field, both bobbled, 1 error, and 1 at bat where Baltimore chops it into the ground on 1 pitch. And Frank Robinson didn't seem to give him much of a attaboy as he went back to the dugout there. First pitch swing by Bradley as we go back to the top of the Oriole lineup, and he whiffs on one outside. The Orioles as a team, the best fielding percentage in the league. But Rene Gonzalez isn't an everyday player. So let's go ahead and keep it that way, shall we? Here's a pitch that apparently was maybe a bit inside. Frank Robinson looks to his left. He's probably wondering if he's ever going to start Rene Gonzalez again. Here's a chopper to third, and Bradley's retired on the ground out to Hensley Mullins. Stan Jefferson comes up now. Terrell still out there. He's looking for his first easy inning of the game. It's been an uphill battle. And Jefferson looks at a called strike. Average stands at just $1.76. And the next offering over the plate, but low as it dips towards the dirt. 1-1 the count on the Orioles center fielder. One out here. And the pitch is grounded up the middle. Another base hit right up the middle here. That's maybe the third hit of the day. Hit straight back to where it came from. And the second by Jefferson, who somewhat awkwardly bumps into first base coach Johnny Oates. Jeff, it is a pretty ugly looking scene. Pretty much everything beyond the outfield wall in the 80s in these ballparks were just like, yeah, they were not aesthetically pleasing, but for some reason I find comfort in it. I kind of like how not everything is just perfect. Yeah, they showed a shot of the outfield earlier. There's like a couple of cars out there in left center, like an ambulance. That's always nice to have. Here's a nice breaking ball to Ripken, who takes it all the way. As I've completely forgotten what the situation is here. What are we looking at? Top of the fourth. A runner at first. I believe at least one out. Don't listen to any of this until I've figured out where we are. But I know there's a strike on Cal, and they're setting up outside, and the pitch is well off the plate. Cal didn't even have to think about that one. Ripken with about 4 layers of that black tape on under his eyes. Stares in, and now a check on the runner. Jefferson back in standing. Oh, yeah, Jeff. And imagine if you were a Seattle fan, the Kingdome was atrocious. There goes Jefferson, and there's not going to be a play at second as the ball is dropped and might have actually hit Bob Guerin in a... Oh, was it a foul ball then? Cal must have just got a piece of it there. Just a foul tip. I tell you, I don't see it. It looks more like the pitch went into the ground. I'm sorry, but I do believe the Orioles just had a base taken away from them. And the announcers on the broadcast are saying the same thing. Why Cal didn't put up more of an argument, I just don't know. Surely he knows better than anyone whether or not the ball touched his bat. And surely he has a reputation where if he were to tell the umpire, that ball didn't touch my bat, maybe he would listen, but... Either way, 2 down and a 1-2 count on Ripken. The pitch, outside corner, he reaches for it, and it's an easy ground ball to second. They thought about a force play, but instead, Sachs goes to first, and the inning is over. The Orioles do get one base runner, but it was probably the easiest inning thus far for Walt Terrell. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Orioles lead the Yankees here 3-2. I'm going to get you following baseball again, Giants fan. Just you watch. Here's a called strike on the outside corner. And again, we're looking at a replay of whether or not this ball ever touched the bat of Ripken. And it looks like maybe it actually did graze his bat. There you go. When you're looking at instant replay of a 1989 VHS copy of a ball game, it's not so easy to tell on plays like that. Here's a pitch popped up, shallow, well, basically on the infield. Just a couple of steps onto the outfield grass. Ripken makes the catch. And there's one away here in the bottom of the fifth. Are we in the fifth? Where the hell are we? It's a high sky out there as Ripken, between the glasses and the black tape under the eyes, It's easier to see Batman's eyes than Cal's eyes right now. And here's the pitch outside from Johnson. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. And I believe there was a called strike. Hard to tell with the camera angle we're getting. We're getting the announcer booth camera angle. Kelly's hitting .326. While you got a guy hitting 7th in the order on a team that's 10 games under 500, he's hitting .326. Maybe you want to hit him, I don't know, like behind Mattingly in the order. Maybe in the 2 spot after Sachs. You got Espinoza batting second. That's pretty much an automatic out. I would definitely be hitting Roberto Kelly higher in this lineup. Here's a line drive base hit left field. Boy, it's almost like I know what I'm talking about. That would have been a lot more helpful for the Yankees had he been at the top of the order. But a line drive base hit to left, and he's on first now. And that'll bring up Guerin. Bob Guerin coming up. And I'm going to be right back. All right, I haven't missed anything, have I? Your typical play-by-play announcer. Oh God, I've got a frog in my throat. I've got a frog in my throat. All right. I don't have a cough button. Sorry. Check on the runner, and did they get him? Whoa, that was close. Kelly just sneaking in under the tag there as Johnson made a nice throw. Very close over there. And I believe Kelly understands where the boundary is for how far of a lead he can get. That was a snap throw, and boy. He was safe. But, yeah, it looks like he knows exactly how far of a lead he can take. And another throw. Johnson, with his throws to first, not only are they quick, but he throws it low to where the first baseman can just apply a very quick snap tag. But that time, not quite accurate enough, and Kelly able to get back in there. But yeah, Davey Johnson for a right-handed pitcher with a nice move over there. Doesn't strike guys out much, but he can catch a napping on the bases. Kelly studying him like a hawk, looking for that chance to go, and he's gotten caught. Kelly is caught off the bag. He's in a rundown, and he slips and is tagged by Cal Ripken. Take a seat, Roberto Kelly. Davey Johnson just owned you, my friend. He owned you. After that first pickoff attempt where you barely got back, that was probably a good sign for you to take a conservative lead. And he was absolutely fooled on that last pickoff attempt. It was almost sad to watch. And suddenly the soul glow in Roberto Kelly's hair isn't glowing so much. Just let your soul glow. Let it shine on through. Swing and a miss. My goodness. Bob Guerin was ratcheting it up for a long ball there. Came up empty as Roberto Kelly continues to let his soul glow. I know, Jeff, right? Wouldn't you love chasing a ball down in deep left center field and you run face first into Babe Ruth's plaque? Just your face smashing into corrugated steel or whatever. All right. Where are we here? Johnson peers in for the sign. Again, he likes to... Oh, that one's up and away. Hey, Giants, thank you for sticking around. The count 1-2 on Guerin. 2 down. Base is empty now after Kelly was picked off at first. And the pitch from Johnson is low and outside, even up at 2-2. There was nothing goofy about Towles Hill. I love Towles Hill at Minute Maid Park. I love stuff like that. The more quirks in a ball yard, the better for me. Here's a pitch left up, and Guerin lines it on the infield. Hewlett was able to knock it down, but not enough time for Ripken to pick it up and throw Guerin out. So it'll be an infield single on a hard hit ball by the Yankee catcher. So that'll put the tying run on. The ball was hit pretty hard, but Hewlett will tell you he should have made that play as it just slipped out of his glove. That's right. Got a swimming pool out there in Arizona. 2 down and a pop-up. This should get the Orioles out of the inning. Running back, though, and making a catch near the track is Jefferson, as that ball had legs. It had me fooled. It looked off the bat like it would be a routine catch, but Jefferson had to go into a sprint and chase that ball down just as he got to the warning track. As we look at some highlights from the Orioles' defense so far this season, Mike Devereaux with a catch over the outfield wall. Bill Ripken with a diving catch. As we get where are we? I don't know, but that pitch was about 8 feet tall, and Orsulak takes it for ball 1, leading things off here. And another pitch off the plate from Walt Terrell, who, again, only until the last inning. Yeah, this should be the top of the 5th, right? Are we not even halfway through this ball game? No wonder these games took forever. Here's a called strike. Thank you, pitch clock. Yeah, I don't think I'd be starting a baseball reaction stream. And Orsulak gets into one. Oh, he uppercuts it. It's going to go. That ball is gone. Forget the porch. That one went straight into the right field bleachers. As Orsulak will round the bases, and the Orioles get one on the board, and they now lead 4-2. Smokin' Joe O. With that lefty swing that you love to see at Yankee Stadium. Turned on one, and you knew it was gone as soon as it left the bat. A famous Baltimore home run call? Gee, I don't know. What's the most famous home run call of all time? I mean, in this 1989 season, there was a game between the Orioles and the California Angels at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where in the bottom of the 9th, with the Orioles, I believe, down a run, Mike Devereaux hit a pitch as the winning run at the plate down the left field foul line. And at the stadium there in Baltimore, the foul pole, it's not like a thick, solid pole. It's one of those sort of crisscross pattern, sort of triangle looking poles, if you know what I mean. And the ball went through the pole. It went through the pole. And it was a huge game during this season where they were going from worst to first. And this ball looks like it might have hit. Oh, no, apparently he got out of the way. By the way, who is that up there? I've totally lost my place here. Is that Keith Moreland at the plate? Swing and a line drive, base hit to right field. Another hit given up by Terrell. And when are the Yankees finally going to call this a day for him? He had one inning where he had one base runner. That was his best inning. No 1, 2, 3 innings. And the Orioles have scored 1 in the first, 3 in the third, and are now threatening here in the fifth. Orsulak and Mattingly having a conversation over there at first. Or excuse me, that's Keith Moreland over there. Okay, after a bit of a pause, we got Jim Traber stepping in. Traber was pitched around his last time up, drew a walk. This time, this one's off the plate. As Terrell doesn't seem interested in giving Traber anything to hit. I don't have any one-on-one stats. Perhaps Traber's hit Terrell hard in previous matchups. But Terrell seems to have no interest in throwing a strike. And you can tell Traber swinging at this one on 2-0, not happy with himself as he was caught chasing a fastball low and away. It might have caught the outside bottom part of the strike zone, but with a 2-0 count, Traber knows he should be waiting for a pitch a little more center cut. 2-1 now, and this one's off the plate, 3-1. Again, Traber really hasn't seen a single pitch to hit today. Maybe that's why he swung. He's like, wow, I got one opportunity to swing the bat. Let's see if Terrell gives him anything to hit here. It's low and away, and Traber fouls it off. That might have caught the zone. Count goes full now. Runners are in motion with 2 away. And there's some boos raining down from the Yankee crowd. What for? I'm not quite sure. It's Yankee Stadium. It could be a host of reasons. Two balls, 2 strikes, and a called strike 3. And Jim Traber is not happy. He has words with the home plate umpire. But that's been Terrell's best pitch of the game. It's that 2-seam fastball that tails back over the inside corner against lefties. And a big out there for Terrell. So Traber, after getting pitched around, gets struck out looking. And that'll bring up Tim Hewlett, who had that big 2-run single in his last at-bat. He looks at a pitch low and away to start this at-bat. I want to know on third baseman Tim Hewlett. Here's a check on the runner. Moreland, not the sort to take off. But Terrell wants to keep him close. The next pitch is in there as Terrell finds the outside corner. Merry Christmas, everybody. And the pitch is inside. Oh, did the Orioles have a play-by-play guy with like sort of a signature home run call? Not really. Chuck Thompson was sort of the legendary Orioles broadcaster from before my time, and his big catchphrase after an Orioles win was "Ain't the beer cold? Ain't the beer cold?" After a win, or maybe after, like a 3-run homer or something. A 3-1 to Hewlett is swung on and grounded to third. Mullins has it, goes to second, and they drop the ball. Mullins' throw was a little offline. Sachs, trying to keep his foot on the bag, tried to reach for it, but couldn't do both. And everybody's going to be safe. That'll be an E5 on Mullins, who again earlier in the game made a nice throw to get the runner out on a force play at home. Hensley Bam Bam Mullins. Just a wide throw. Not much Steve Sachs could do about it over there. So a Yankee error have got the Orioles in business. And again, Terrell has got to be getting close to. See, when I've been doing these retro games, the one thing I've been completely bad at doing is predicting when a starting pitcher is like at the end of his rope. Because boy, were they a lot more forgiving back in the day. They just let guys pitch deep. And keep in mind, this is a time when a time when nobody was throwing 300 innings anymore. Like, it used to be even more so like this, where, you can give up 6 runs and pitch a complete game. Anyway, all that talking, we have a ground out here on the infield. And I need a complete recap of where we stand here in terms of outs and what inning are we in? I believe it's the top of the 5th. I believe there are runners at second and third. I believe there's 1 out or 2 out. Anyway, here comes the first pitch to who's up there? Gonzalez? He fouls that one back. Rene Gonzalez has not had a memorable day here for the Birds so far. This is a chance to redeem himself as we look at some out-of-town scores on this day in August of 1989. Might have saw Dave Steeb's name scroll by. And the next pitch is swung on and missed, low and away, and chased there by Gonzalez. We'll see, Poole. We'll see. I'm gonna try to make my baseball streams as not corny as possible. Like, I want to make a legit call of the game. You know what I mean? Not to say that people that use a soundboard aren't doing that. I just don't want it to turn into like a goofy ass like morning radio show or something. This pitch to Gonzalez is off the plate, and the count 1-2. 2 down. A couple runners in scoring position. And the pitch from Terrell to Gonzalez is upstairs, and Gonzalez chases. A strikeout of Gonzalez. My goodness. Is there any way to just get him out of the ball game? It seems like he's just screwing everything up. Well, we're halfway through this ball game. We're heading on to the bottom of the 5th now. As Johnson out for his 5th inning of work. Orioles have a 4-2 lead as his first pitch is upstairs. The next offering from Johnson is on the outside corner, belt high, a called strike. And the pitch to Sachs is up and in, and it hit him. What happened there? Apparently it didn't hit him. But Davey Johnson has Steve Sachs eat a dirt sandwich as Sachs goes to ground with a bit of chin music there from Johnson. Pardon me for my sniffing. It's the 80s. It's the Yankees. I should be snorting something. All right, here we go. Next pitch to Sachs is right over the middle of the plate. He grounds it to second. Routine play for Gonzalez, though with the way he's looked today, I don't think anything's routine. Sachs is retired, one away. That'll bring up Alvaro Espinoza. Today's retro play call brought to you by marijuana. Marijuana, nature's cure-all. All right, here's Espinoza stepping in, and the first pitch is a comebacker to Johnson. Takes a look at the ball, throws it over to first, and Espinoza is retired post-haste. This is the kind of inning Johnson's needed. Got the 1 and 2 hitters out rather quickly and quietly, and will face Don Mattingly now with 2 out and the bases empty in a 2-run ball game. The first pitch to Mattingly is on the outside corner, a called strike. That looked a bit off the plate, and Mattingly gave a look to the umpire to indicate exactly that. The 0-1 is fouled away, and Mattingly knew he swung at a pitch in the same location. Didn't want to see another called strike. He had to swing, but all he could do was foul it off late. So good pitching here from Johnson, and the 0-2 pitch is hit in the air well, but to straightaway center and right in the tracks of Stan Jefferson. He makes the catch. The inning is over. We're through 5 here in the Bronx. The Orioles lead this one 4-2. As Johnson is seen giving some high fives in the dugout. He's got the jacket over one arm, so he should be coming out for the 6th inning as he cheers his teammates on for a little extra insurance. Meanwhile, Phil Bradley at the plate. And the next pitch from Terrell is a breaking ball that hangs upstairs. Count 1-1 on the Oriole left fielder, leading it off here in the top of the 6th. The next offering, swing and a miss. Chase one. Bradley flailing there out in front. This one swung on and fouled back into the crowd. Oh, one of those giant fishing nets got the job done, hanging over the mezzanine section. As a lady who looks like the Queen of Long Island lifts the ball in victory. Here's another 1-2 to Bradley, inside a little bit, and the count even up at 2-2. 0 for 3 so far today, Bradley's average. has dipped down to 276. The next pitch is fouled back. Yeah. And Jeff, they would just position him to hang out over the little mezzanine area. Not even try to use it to just hope it would just fall into a net. It's the laziest way to get a foul ball I've ever seen. Here's a 2-2 to Bradley. Swing and a miss. And down goes Bradley on the strikeout. Yeah. Heads back to the dugout looking the way I do after trying to ask a girl out on a date. So Bradley retired, one away, and here's Jefferson up for the fourth time today? Third time today. Fourth time? Third time. Third time? Fourth time. Here's a pitch off the plate. By the way, again, just so we're keeping track, I thought they would be taking Walt Terrell out of this game about 35 pitches ago. Here's one over the plate. And the count even up at 1-1 on Jefferson. Next pitch from Terrell is swung on and chopped into the ground and will dribble foul off to the right. One away. Cal Ripken on deck. And the next pitch to Jefferson is low and away. Here's one swung on and missed. Down goes Jefferson. Completely befuddled on that pitch. So Jefferson down on strikes, 2 away, and here's Ripken. He's got a couple of hits today already. The pitch is in there, a called strike. I apologize. Ripken is 1 for 3 today. Could have sworn I watched him get 2 base hits. Wishful thinking. Maybe that second hit's coming now. The pitch is inside. Going back in the history books, of course, everyone aware of Ripken's Iron Man streak, consecutive games played. He broke that streak, I believe, in 1995, began it in 82. So if my math is correct, this is right around the halfway point. Yeah, there you go. 12-18. A little more than halfway to Gehrig's record that Ripken would eventually pass and shatter. The Iron Man. And the pitch is on the ground, and a nice backhanded scoop by Sachs. He'll throw to first in time, and the side is retired. The Orioles go 3 up, 3 down, and will go to the bottom of the 6th. They lead this one 4-2. First pitch swinging here by Mel Hall, and he immediately ropes one into right field for a leadoff single. So here come the Yankees. As they immediately bring the tying run to the plate after Mel Hall ambushed a Dave Johnson fastball and roped it into right field. That gets the organ playing in the stadium and a bit of a crowd cheer going as they hope to rally here. Down by 2 against the Orioles. Getting into the later innings now. Here's Phelps, and he takes one off the plate outside. Was there a cigarette billboard and I missed it? Isn't that awesome? Here's the next pitch to Phelps, and he takes a big cut, but he just sort of, I don't know. How would you describe that? It was like a protective swing. And now they're going to try to get the runner who's tagging to go to second, and he's out. What in the world was Mel Hall thinking? A routine fly ball to center field, not incredibly deep. And Mel Hall figured he could catch Stan Jefferson, the center fielder, napping, tagged from first to try to go to second. Jefferson's throw was all the way through, did not need a cutoff man, and Hall was nailed at second base. Boy, I guess that's why you don't see players try that often. What in the world are you doing, Mel Hall? Well, that's a rally killer. 2 down, nobody on now. After the fly ball out / catch the runner trying to tag and go to second play. And now I'm beginning to understand why the Yankees were as bad as they were this season. Here's a fly ball to pretty deep right center, but Jefferson has room out there near the 385 sign. He makes the catch, and Johnson has now gotten through 6 innings of what has now become a quality start. The Orioles will go into the 7th, still leading this one 4-2. Couple of weird play by some Yankee players in this one. The Orioles had their own goat, and I mean that in a negative way, in this one, courtesy of Rene Gonzalez, but the Yankees have more than made up for it. And Orsulak, talk about ambush, first pitch swinging here. Is that ball gone, or is that a foul ball? Apparently it was foul. Wow, that ball was absolutely lasered down into the right field corner. Orsulak already 2 for 2 today. Already homered. Here's an uppercut swing. Are you kidding me? That ball is gone. Joe Orsulak, have yourself a day off Walt Terrell. My goodness. One pitch after nearly sneaking it out down the right field line, he uppercuts this one and hits it nearly to the same spot he did for his first home run today. It's a 2 home run game for Orsulak, 6 home runs on the season, and the Orioles add a big run here to make it 5-2. Just absolutely sat on that pitch. Are you kidding me? If I ever have a signature home run called, Jeff, it'll just naturally evolve. I don't even have a... By the way, don't smoke, kids. It's bad for you. Looks like we're going to have a pitching change, and it's one batter too late. I mean, Orsulak already homered off of Terrell. Terrell's been struggling all day. This would have been the right time to come out with a fresh arm to begin the inning. But he left him out there for Orsulak, and Orsulak absolutely burned him. Again, just a pitch earlier, that ball was tagged, and Orsulak was ready. An absolute laser beam. By the way, here's a look at some stats on the best relief pitchers in the 1989 season. Anybody remember the Eck? Dennis Eckersley? You might got Mark Davis out there in San Diego. The Wild Thing, Mitch Williams. So we have a pitching change here for the Yankees. And I'm going to have to figure out, it looks like it's Lance McCullers. Lance McCullers comes out. Forgive me as I try to get everything back to normal here. And coming out for the Orioles to hit, it looks like a pinch hitter. Larry Sheets, the lefty, is going to replace Keith Moreland, the DH. And here's one off the plate outside. Sheets hitting .240 with 7 homers, 30 knocked in. The O's are indeed winning. They just got a homer from Orsolak to make it 5-2. Here's a pop-up on the infield. Sachs calls off his teammates and makes the catch. Here's another look at that home run from Joe Orsolak. Look at this uppercut swing and a beauty. I mean, the trajectory on that. You want to talk about the... Oh, what is it? Not exit velo, but what's the other big StatCast thing? The launch angle, yeah. That was a launch angle right there. Jim Traber is in there now, and he looks at a first pitch in the dirt. Yep, the launch angle. The next pitch is in there, called strike, 1-1. 5-2 Orioles here in the 7th. As you hear an airplane flying overhead, you would think we're at Shea Stadium right now. As McCullers sends another one in the dirt. Here's his 2-1 pitch, and it's lined foul off to the left. McCullers 2-2 is up and away, and the count runs full. Here's the payoff, and it's fouled back. We'll do it again. And McCullers is going to ask for a new baseball. Traber in there looking very poised. The pitch is low and in, and Traber takes the walk. So Traber hasn't had much of a chance to do a lot of hitting today. He's walked, he's struck out, he's walked. So with a runner at first and one down, in steps Tim Hewlett. Hewlett had perhaps the biggest hit of the game so far with that 2-run single that just found its way through the left side of the infield. Here's a first pitch swing and a miss. Bucky Dent looking down at his lineup card perhaps. Trying to figure out what to do here to get back into this one. Next pitch is another swing and a miss. Hewlett couldn't reach it. You can see the sun now setting at an angle, and it's shining into the face of the pitcher. Another foul ball. So the elements could come into play here in the later innings as the shadows and sunlight begin to do tricks. The pitch is a breaking ball called strike 3, and Hewlett turns around in disgust. A nice lollipop curve there from McCullers. And this is just a reminder that this game is a copyrighted performance of Major League Baseball. Any rebroadcast of this game without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited, so I'm told. Oh well, here's Jamie Quirk. First, we'll check on the runner. Jim Traber's not going anywhere. As McCullers steps off the rubber, now back on. Comes to the set position, and here's the next offering. It's fouled straight back. Put me in the jail. Quirk is 1 for 3 today, lifting his average to a lofty 157. Runner at first, 2 down. 5-2 Orioles, top of the 7th. This one's off the plate outside. One and one on Quirk. McCullers came in to relieve Walt Terrell, and now Quirk asks for time. And now McCullers goes off the mound to retrieve something out there. Some sort of piece of trash found its way into the infield. And again, a good look here as the shadows just start to creep across home plate. Here comes the next pitch. It's upstairs. Quirk taking a lot of time standing outside the box between pitches. And another check on Traber over there at first. He's back in standing. Here comes the pitch, and it's low and in. And we have another pause in action. Guerin takes off the mask. Has a little chat with the umpire. And gets back into his crouch. The Orioles with 11 hits already. Here's the 3-1 to Quirk, and it's low and away, ball 4. So a 2-out walk. That'll push Traber into scoring position. 2 on now. And the batter will be Rene Gonzalez. Here's a guy that needs a hit. A look at the Yankee dugout, and I would have to say the body language isn't exactly positive. Surely it was someone else named Frank Thomas, right? That's a name that sounds like 10. There's probably 10,000 Frank Thomases out there. Did they have like a picture of the actual player next to his name? Oh no. I would be happy. I'd be like, hey, I'm alive, and I'm really happy about it. Excuse me. The next pitch is, I can't even tell. Was it swung on and missed? Apparently. I thought it might have been fouled at the plate, but either way, it's a strike. As Gonzalez steps out. And now back into the box. Again, the pace of this game slows down considerably with the runners on base. McCullers' next pitch is a ball that ticketed straight for the dirt. Nothing to even consider offering out for Rene Gonzalez. Here's a wide view of the stadium. Upper deck looking pretty empty. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. And Rene Gonzalez, my God. I remember him well. He was a decent utility man for us. Occasional starter. But my God, all he's done today is strike out, beat one ball into the ground, made an error, and bobbled another play. Seventh inning stretch, and we're underway in the bottom of the seventh, and it's a first pitch strike to Roberto Kelly as Davey Johnson comes out for his seventh inning of work. This one clips the outside corner, a nice little two-seamer. Kelly doesn't like it. But to be fair, that pitch has been called a strike all day long. Johnson taking too long where Kelly requests for time. And it looks like we're ready now for the next pitch. Johnson, no, we're not ready. Time again. My God. Thank you, Major League Baseball, for implementing the pitch clock. Because this is ridiculous. Here comes the pitch to Kelly, and it's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the leadoff man here in the bottom of the seventh. The Yankees are down 3, 5-2, Baltimore. The pitch, outside. Count runs full now. And here comes the payoff pitch from Johnson to Kelly. It's over the plate, and Kelly fouls it off to the left as it caroms off the tarp and down into the left field corner. That'll probably cause a delay of a few seconds as Phil Bradley, the Oriole left fielder, needs to go over to retrieve the ball and get back into position. Shadows now completely covering the home plate circle, and this one is fouled back. I believe the antics between pitches of Nomar Garcia-Parra during his playing days might have been what finally broke baseball and said, okay, we need to do something. Because, yeah, Nomar would take about a minute between each pitch. Here's the next pitch to Kelly, and it's well off the plate. He'll take a leadoff walk. That is not what Johnson wants to do here with a 3-run lead late in the ball game. And it immediately gets the Orioles on the phone to the bullpen. We'll see who they get warmed up out there. Orioles pitching coach Al Jackson on the phone, looking stylish as always. So leadoff walk to Kelly as the Yankees are into the bottom of their order now. Here's the catcher, Bob Guerin. First pitch swinging, and Guerin gets a hold of one down the left field line, but is it a foul ball? Did that ball get out of here? That ball got out of here. Bob Guerin, first pitch swinging, finds a way to sneak the ball inside the left field foul pole and just over the wall. I tell you, first look, I thought that ball went foul. Well, with that, the Yankees have climbed back into this one. It's 5-4. I'd love to see a replay of this. You would think we would get one by now. And yet, no replay. Finally, here we have a look. And no, I don't want to see the replay of his swing. I want to see the replay where the ball went. And we still don't get that replay. Thanks, NBC. And here's Hensley Mullins. He takes, okay, here's a look down the line. And you can see the ball actually hits off the mesh screen attached to the pole. And that's why it caromed and fell to the foul side of the pole. So if I were watching this in modern HD quality, I probably could have picked up on that. Anyway, Mark Williamson is up in the Oriole bullpen, as Johnson now is nursing just a one-run lead late in the ball game. And Jackson is out there to have a conversation, probably more to give Williamson time to get loose than anything. Oh, wow. Is that a video, Jeff? Here's a pitch swung on and hit into the air right field. Orsolak, right there in his tracks, makes the catch. So a big out there for Johnson. Is that like a YouTube video? If I like use some search words like Kenley Johnson pitch clock or something, I can find that. All right, one out here in the seventh. Johnson's still out there, and first pitch to Sachs is on the outside corner, a called strike. Sachs today 1 for 3 with a double. The next pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate. Might have hit off Sachs' own foot. Five to 4 Orioles here in the bottom of the seventh. The Yankees have gotten back to within a run after a 2-run homer from Bob Guerin. Here's a swing and a tapper foul off to the left. Pitch clock comparison, Pedro Baez. Okay, I'll look for that. Oh, no worries, no worries. And another request for time as Johnson was staring in, looking at the signs a little too long. My God, give me the pitch clock. I don't think I would be doing a channel if it weren't for the pitch clock. I can't call these 3.5 hours at a time. I need me a 2.5 hour game. Here's a liner over to first, and Traber fields it himself to retire Sachs. 2 away, and here's Alvaro Espinoza. Now Jackson pops up off the bench, pacing around, and is going to pick up the phone yet again. Orioles playing matchups here in the later innings, maybe getting a lefty loose. Here's a pitch, and a first pitch swung on and hit well to left. Back on it is Bradley, and he makes the catch just in front of the wall. Espinoza, not known for his power, nearly got one out of here to tie the ball game. Instead, Johnson escapes with the lead still intact at the end of 7. It's the Orioles 5, the Yankees 4. as we head into the 8th inning now. And we're already 2 pitches into the at-bat. It looks like Kevin Hickey, the lefty, is getting loose out there. Swing and a miss. So a 3-pitch strikeout for a batter that I can't even say. Oh, it's Phil Bradley. Okay. Top of the order. Bradley leading off here in the 8th. Strikes out on 3 pitches. That'll bring up Stan Jefferson. Hey, they gotta love a name like Hickey. First pitch swinging by Jefferson, fouls it back late on the fastball. One out here in the top of the 8th as Hickey continues to get loose. Yankees probably have some left-handed batters due up in the bottom half of the inning. The next pitch to Jefferson is swung on and popped up. Foul, third base side, and it will get back into the stands about 12 rows deep. Jefferson getting the start today has made the most of it with a pair of hits. Let's see what he can do here when what might be his final at bat of the game. Looks at one just off the plate outside. Close call there. That was pretty borderline. I feel like that same location's been called a strike before. The next one is, again, trying to hit the outside corner. Jefferson reaches it, lifts it into left center, and Mel Hall will chase it out down there in the gap to retire Jefferson. So 2 men down here in the 8th. And don't forget, folks, we've got a 10-round welterweight boxing match coming up tomorrow at 4:30 between Buddy McGirt and Gary Kid Jacobs. Aren't these like the first 2 guys you face in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? All right, here's Ripken now, and he takes a look at a called strike. Still McCullers out there in relief of Terrell. His next pitch is a check swing. Did he go? They'll check the first base umpire. He says no. In fact, he shakes his head no a few times. What is it about the physique of Major League umpires? Why do they all have that same physique? I don't know. The next pitch to Ripken is swung on and chopped foul off to the left. As the shadows begin to creep toward the pitching mound. The next pitch to Ripken is low. Some out-of-town scores here. And Ripken's next pitch is swung on and missed. He chased one in the dirt, and Cal strikes out. So the Orioles are finished here in the 8th. They can't find a insurance run to pad their lead. We'll go to the bottom half. The Yankees down a run. And here's a look at the Yankee lineup. And I guess they're highlighting how there's 3 left-handed hitters in a row, beginning with Don Mattingly. So why not bring out your lefty to face him? Mattingly, Hall, and Phelps. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters you see right there on the lineup card, all hitting from the left side. So Frank Robinson playing the matchup, brings out his lefty reliever, and it's Hickey's job to get these next 3 guys out and get the game to the ninth inning with this lead still intact. Mattingly's 0 for 3 today. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times, but has yet to get on base. So the southpaw Hickey's first pitch is over the plate, a called strike. Bit of a 3/4 delivery from Hickey. Kind of a sweeping delivery. And this one's sweeping way off the plate outside and in the dirt. The 1-1 Adani baseball from Kevin Hickey is coming eventually. I promise. Here it is. Upstairs and outside. 2 balls and a strike to the Yankee leadoff man here in the bottom of the 8th. 1-run ball game here in the Bronx. Cork puts down the signs. Hickey kicks and deals. Swung on and hit on the ground. Past the diving glove of Gonzalez into short right field, a base hit. How did I know that Rene Gonzalez was not going to field that ball cleanly? That is not an error by any stretch. It was a hard play. But, boy, the timing of Gonzalez's dive there looked rather, I don't know, what's the word, clumsy? It's been a rather clumsy performance in the field from Rene Gonzalez. So the Yankees have what they wanted. Their leadoff man and tying run now on first base. And Hickey will check on the runner, and it was a lob throw. As Mel Hall steps in, already 2 for 2 today. He's been the biggest threat in this Yankee lineup. And now has a chance to help them get back to tie or perhaps take the lead. Instead, he shows bunt. Pulls the bat back as the ball was inside. So a bit of a surprise there. Hickey rocking a bit of a mini mullet and a nice mustache. I'm sure he's about 26 years old, but he looks 45. I don't know how that works, but players just looked older back then. I don't know. Okay. Mattingly at first. Hall at the plate. Nobody out. Bottom of the 8th. The Yankees down a run. Kevin Hickey's come in to try to get out some left-handed batters. And again, we have some debris out on the field. It looks like a paper airplane. And the Yankee third base coach goes out and sticks it in his back pocket. Yep, a paper airplane just came flying in and settled right near the on-deck circle. Here's one up and in on Hall, who again turned around as if to bunt. Instead, has to back out of the way. And now the manager, Robinson, is coming out. He might have seen enough. Robinson, normally not the sort to come out for a conversation. He usually comes out to go to the pen. Is he going to take Hickey out of this game in the middle of the at-bat? There's something about what Hickey's doing out there that has Frank not too happy. It is indeed just a conversation, and a quick one at that. There's a few different theories I might have for the quick words Frank Robinson had for his pitcher. There's only so many words you can get out in the span of 2 or 3 seconds. I would say it's something along the lines of stop effing around. And Hickey will check on Mattingly at first, who is barely a foot off the bag. No lead whatsoever there at all. The 2-0 to Hall. A big pitch coming, and again squaring, but he takes, and it's a called strike. How about that? So Hickey sneaks a strike by Hall, who's still thinking only in terms of manufacturing a run here and moving the tying run to second base. Everybody has got to be on their toes here. Another bunt attempt, and this one's fouled right off the plate. It lands into the catcher's glove. And now 2 strikes on Hall. Mel Hall not typically called upon to bunt, and like most hitters who hit for power and not necessarily in situational hitting, I was going to say situational hitting situations. That's allow myself to introduce myself. Basically what I'm driving at here, it seems like every time you call upon a power hitter to lay down a bunt, it's almost like they fail to do it and get to 2 strikes on purpose just so that they can go ahead and swing away again. Anyway, that's the deal now. The count's 2-2. And let's see if Hall has any further designs on laying one down or if he'll be swinging away here. A lot of time going on. Intense moment of the game. Mattingly fakes running, and this ball gets away and hits the umpire on the head. My goodness, Mattingly will take second base. That ball hit the home plate umpire square on the noggin. There might have been a slight bit of a touch of the catcher's glove on its way in, but for the most part, that pitch went straight into an umpire's head. And he's going to take a minute to try and collect himself. Quirk tried to get the glove up. It's hard to tell if it touched any part of his glove, but for the most part, it was straight off the mask of the home plate umpire. So we'll have yet another pause in the action, I'm sure. All right, well, it's a tough sport, even for the officials. Once we get back underway here, it'll be a full count on Hall. Still nobody out. Mattingly now at second after that wild pitch off the head of the umpire. I mean, what are we looking at? A wild thing here? Just a bit outside. All right. Payoff pitch to Hall incoming. And it is low for ball 4. So Hickey has not done what Frank Robinson had hoped he could do. He's brought out here for a specific purpose, get out the left-handed batters. And so far, he's 0 for 2. He's given up a hit and now a walk. And he's allowed the tying and go-ahead runs on base with nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. This game is getting tense. Another lefty bat due up. We'll see how much longer they go for. Yep, here comes Robinson. He says, forget the matchups. I don't believe in Kevin Hickey. And he's coming to yank him. The score is now 5-4. Steele, there it is. The Yankees came back with a 2-run homer from Bob Guerin that chased Dave Johnson out of the game. Johnson was able to go 7 innings and gave up 4 runs. He is the pitcher of record still. But now after a abysmal 2-batter performance from Kevin Hickey, the lefty, the Orioles will now call upon who's pretty much their setup man, Mark Williamson. Comes in with a 9-3 record, 3.17 ERA. As there's a candid shot of Hickey sitting in the dugout, slamming his glove. And now a bunt is laid down, and it's a good one. That'll move both runners up. A successful bunt, and the Yankees are set up now to at least tie this ball game. And the crowd with probably their biggest applause of the day for that well-placed bunt. Yes, Steele, you can't go anywhere now, buddy. Hang in there for the conclusion of this one. Here's Jesse Barfield. Barfield 0 for 3 today. Average down to 240. Second and third. The tying run on third. The go-ahead run at second. Williamson waits for his sign. In the set position. The pitch. Nice first pitch breaking ball there for a called strike to get ahead of Barfield. There's only 1 out. The Yankees looking to at least tie here. They can do so without the benefit of a hit, a fly ball, a ground ball. Lots of options. The pitch is just off the outside corner as Williamson was looking to sneak one there on the black. Steele, the 1989 season for the Orioles was a magical season. As soon as this at-bat's over, I'll try to tell you why here in a sec. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and Barfield steps out. Okay, very quickly, Steele, the Orioles in 1988, the season before, had a abysmal, historic start to their season. They began the year 0-21. They wound up losing over 110 games. And the very next year, this season, they were in first place until the final weekend of the series, or of the season. And unfortunately, by losing 2 out of 3 games to the Blue Jays won the division. It was a great pennant race. And, yeah, the Orioles were in first place for most of the summer, following a season where, again, they started 0-21. I unfortunately do know the final score of this ball game. There's no way for me to bring up some of this information hidden behind my camera here. But obviously, when I'm calling games for real for the upcoming 2024 season, I'm not going to know. I told you a few streams ago on the other channel. Oh, about the 88 Orioles? Yeah. So the 1989 team, yeah, is a very special one for me. I was 12 years old. Yep. All right, so big pitch coming. 2-2 to Barfield, and it's swung on and lifted back into the seats. We'll do it again. Tying run at third. Go ahead run at second. 1 down. Williamson waiting for a sign. He's ready. Here it comes. And it's swung on and hit behind the plate. Barfield stays alive. There's another shot of Kevin Hickey in the dugout. I'm not quite sure what sort of conversation he's having. Had I done what he did today, I'd be sitting there pretty quietly. The glare of Mark Williamson as he stares in to get the signs from Jamie Quirk. Barfield equally looking in high concentration. Here's a fastball line down the left field corner, and that one is foul. My goodness. Barfield nearly did what Bob Guerin did just a couple of innings ago, bidding for a cheap home run down the left field foul line. Nearly got it, but it hooked just at the last second and probably would have come up just a bit short as well. All that, and it's just a a foul ball. 2-2 the count. Huge spot here in the ball game. Another big pitch coming. And this one's way off the plate. The count goes full. We're pretty much... we are on the precipice here, folks. You can sense it in the crowd. You can sense it on the faces of each manager. The outcome of this ball game is probably going to be determined perhaps on this very pitch. Here it comes. And it's low for ball 4. The bases are going to be loaded. My goodness. And Frank Robinson looks on in pain. Frank's sitting there with the same expression I have when I'm waiting for an Uber. So the bases are loaded. Mattingly at third. Hall at second. Barfield at first. And Williamson now has to deal with Roberto Kelly. And he's not an easy man to double up. He's got speed. The Orioles need a lot of help. Orioles are playing somewhat of a double play depth, at least at second and short. First and third are a little closer in on the infield. Perhaps to try to cut a runner down at home. They were not good, Jeff. The pitch is a breaking ball, a called strike outside corner. Kelly is not happy. Why? I'm not sure. That was a pretty good pitch. The Yankees on this day were, I believe, 11 and a half games out of first place and like 10 games under 500. One ball, one strike, one out. The pitch popped up foul behind the plate, and the count 1-2. Hickey cheering on his fellow pitcher. Of course, he would love to see Williamson get out of the jam. Two of the runners on base are Hickey's responsibility. Williamson asks for a new baseball. And again, the last, 2.5 batters? Feels like it's taken about 20 minutes. This game is slowed down to a screeching halt as the TV flashes an ominous stat. Roberto Kelly has never hit a grand slam in his professional career. Well, let's hope it stays that way. The 1-2 is on the outside corner, called strike 3. Mark Williamson paints the outside black and gets a huge second out as Kelly is sent back to the bench, coming up empty. Oh, he was caught on the base paths earlier in the game. Oh, it has not been a good game for Roberto Kelly. What a beautiful pitch that was. Tailing back over the outside edge. Kelly had given up on it, and to be fair, I think most batters would have. With 2 strikes, you want to protect the plate. And, of course, in a situation like this where you're trying to drive in a run, you definitely don't want to get caught looking on a strikeout. But fair play to Williamson for a perfectly executed pitch. 2 down now. And it looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter for Phelps. No, excuse me. I'm all over the place. It's Bob Guerin who hit that 2-run homer in his last at bat. Quirk runs out to the mound for a quick conference with Williamson. The Orioles trying to get out of this jam. The Yankees desperately trying to at least tie the ball game. But now we'll have to do something more than just hit a deep fly ball or a dribbler on the ground. They're going to need a hit. They're going to need a walk. The pitch from Williamson. Breaking ball. Hit on the ground to short. Ripken has it to second for the force. Gonzalez flips it to the umpire, and the Orioles get out of the jam. How about that? Bases loaded, only 1 out with a tying run at third, and the Orioles escape with the lead still intact. We go to the 9th inning. It's the Orioles 5, the Yankees 4. And Kevin Hickey should be buying Mark Williamson dinner tonight. Williamson came in and shut the door on the Yankee rally. That called strike 3 pitch to Roberto Kelly has to be the highlight. Williamson seems to be holding court in the dugout as if to say, yep, I did that. I put that rally to bed. That was me. Did you see that one pitch to Kelly? That was me. And who best to lead it off for the Orioles in the 9th other than Joe Orsulak? What a day. 3 for 3 with a pair of home runs. A big cut and a miss here, though. A pair of solo home runs off the starter, Walt Terrell. 3 RBI altogether. He had a sac fly back in the first. So a lot put on Orsulak's shoulder, hitting cleanup in this order. But he has come good, putting up cleanup hitter type numbers. Driving in 3, going 3 for 3 with a sac fly. If the Orioles can hold on here, I think you'll have to give him the player of the game honors. Here comes the pitch, up and away. How did the Orioles dance out of trouble there in the bottom of the 8th? Another ball away. This one even farther off the plate. 2-0 the count. Orsulak looking for a 4-hit day. The pitch is fouled away. A late swing there from Orsulak. Probably not happy on a 2-0 count swinging at that. But can you blame him for feeling anxious? Can you blame him for feeling like a superhero? He's had a fantastic day at the plate so far with a couple of home runs. Here's the pitch. Outside. And what happened here? Okay. Apparently there was a glitch in this broadcast. Joe Orsulak found his way to first base somehow, and we're already looking at the next batter, Larry Sheets. So Orsulak gets on base again. How? I can't tell you. Well, I could tell you. I'm going to tell you. And you might not want to look at the screen right now. Orsulak drew a walk So Orsulak, 3 for 3 in 5 plate appearances, 3 hits, a walk, and a sacrifice fly. A very productive day, and here comes Larry Sheets, who gets his second plate appearance after coming in to pinch hit. And McCullers with a check on Orsulak, who does have a bit of speed in his game as well. This is, with a 1-run lead, the sort of situation where you might see Orsulak try to take a base. Swing and a miss from Sheets on a ball low and outside, just a bit off the plate. Just let me pass along a thank you to those who have been watching the stream tonight live, and for anyone who might be watching this at a later date. Again, the idea here is to get myself some practice, get acclimated, get comfortable calling games, getting my stamina built up. You know, broadcasting for a few hours straight is not easy. I will have the benefit, once we get under live ball games for the upcoming season, of, 90 seconds between innings. There goes Orsulak, and here's a swing by Sheets, and this ball is lifted in the center, and I think Kelly can't see it. The ball's over his head. It's going to land up and bounce off against the center field wall. Orsulak rounds third. He didn't know where the ball was, and he's going to come in to score on a wild play. What in the world is going on in the Bronx? Kelly lost it in the sun. Orsulak lost where the ball was. He was looking as if he was going to pull into third base. Instead, put the wheels back on. And instead of sliding in, he went in standing on the plate when the ball almost got there in time. So Orsulak thought the ball was going to be caught. First he tagged, then he had to run. Larry Sheets nearly caught Orsulak on the bases. Unbelievable. Somehow the Orioles able to escape what could have been a nightmare situation and score a huge insurance run. Not the way you draw it up, folks, but credit to Orsulak. He managed to get home. And Larry Sheets, with the world's most, luckiest RBI double. Yeah, Orsulak did not look like a ballerina coming in, scoring on that play. 6-4 Orioles now in the ninth. Swing and a miss by Traber. And Randy Milligan has come in to pinch run for Sheets. Milligan now at second base. So Sheets came in to pinch hit, and now he's been lifted for a pinch runner. Here's a check on Milligan, who dives back in, and did they get him? They did. Well, so much for the pinch running performance of Randy Milligan. And he's taking up a DH spot, so that's probably all we'll see of Milligan in this ball game. Unbelievable. He came in because apparently, well, he's certainly a faster runner than Sheets, but he's not exactly a speedster. But he took too big of a lead off second and gets caught and goes immediately back to the dugout. His day's over. Here's a grounder to first from Traber. The Mattingly bobbles it for a sec, but picks it up himself, goes to the bag, and beats Traber there for the second out of the inning. What a wild ending to this ball game, as Milligan is now getting a firm lecture from Robinson after his base running gaffe. Frank's like probably explaining to Milligan right now, you should be lucky that you don't live in the age of YouTube, Randy, because what you just did would probably be getting memed all over the internet. But since none of those things exist yet, You're okay. The pitch is grounded. In the hole, it's short. Espinoza with a strong throw. And the Orioles are retired, but they add on a run in unconventional fashion. A Sun double from Larry Sheets that allowed Joe Orsulak to come in and score. We head to the bottom of the ninth. It's the Orioles 6 and the Yankees 4. And just as I suspected, the Orioles turn to their closer. It's the rookie, Greg Olson. Olson has been phenomenal since making his major league debut and has helped shut the door on many a ball game since being anointed the Oriole closer. The Yankees will counter, meanwhile, with a pinch hitter in the form of Luis Polonia. The first pitch is a swing and a miss, as Polonia couldn't catch up to Olson's gas. Polonia, known more for his speed than his power. And another cut and a miss. And Polonia looked helpless on that swing. Polonia had taken big cuts when he should be thinking about just making contact. And now he's found himself in the hole 0-2. The Yankees now down 2 runs here in the bottom of the ninth. The pitch right over the plate, and Polonia is able to foul it away. Olson, 3 straight fastballs, challenging Polonia. The count remains 0-2. If the Orioles can hang on here, they will move up to a full 2 games ahead of the Blue Jays in the standings and move to 10 games above 500. This one swung on and fouled back into the stands. So Polonia hangs in there for at least another pitch, but so far he's looked rather overmatched by Greg Olson. From the set and the pitch, it's a breaking ball, but it doesn't quite catch the zone, and the count moves to 1-2. That's Olson's 2 pitches. The fastball and the big curveball. Here's another curveball, but it hangs upstairs, and Polonia's worked the count even. It's now 2-2. It really is a big at-bat here, because if Polonia does get on first, he's got a lot of speed. Representing that tying run. Well, no, he wouldn't be the tying run. Excuse me. They're down 2 runs now. This ball swung on and looped into left center field for a base hit. So Polonia does indeed reach on a bloop single to lead off the bottom of the ninth, and that'll get the tying run to the plate. Polonia does his job. And how big now is that insurance run for the Orioles in the bottom of the eighth, or excuse me, the top of the ninth, to give them a 2-run cushion, because otherwise you'd have a tying run with a lot of speed here, probably looking to swipe second base. Down 2, maybe they don't want to risk it, especially with Steve Sachs at the plate and his lofty .323 batting average. His first pitch is swung on and popped up, and he is angry. Sachs slams the bat down on a pop-up to shallow center. A 1-pitch out, and Sachs, who's had a good day at the plate, does not end it on a positive note. So a big first out here in the ninth. Again, Sachs absolutely infuriated with his decision to swing at that pitch. One away here in the ninth. Polonia at first. And that'll bring up Alvaro Espinoza. A double play ball can end it. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and popped up again. Another first pitch swinging, and it's on the infield. Ripken makes the catch, and the Orioles are 1 out away from getting out of here with the win. How about that? 2 batters in a row going after the first pitch and popping straight up weakly. It shows you the dominance of this rookie closer, Greg Olson. With the bat slam? Yeah, I hear you. And in steps Mattingly, whose job is right now just to find a way to get on base. The Yankees still need to get a runner on to send the tying run to the plate. 2 down here in the 9th. Olson versus Mattingly. The pitch. Swung on and chopped foul off to the right. 1-1 the count. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for hanging out here with me on the live stream, and I hope you guys will be tuning in for the upcoming real season of baseball. I will be doing more retro games, probably a handful or so, and I'm definitely going to do 2 on back-to-back days just so I can get the stamina up. You know what I mean? Here's a check swing by Mattingly, and boy, is he pissed and went off his bat. Boy, is Mattingly upset. All he wanted to do was get out of the way of the pitch, and instead it's a foul ball and a strike. Yankees are down to their last chance. 2 strikes on Mattingly, 2 down. Poloni at first. The pitch. Curveball, grounded to first, stopped by Traber, picks it up. Olson to the bag, in time. No, not in time. The umpire says Mattingly got there. Let's take a look at all this. It was a grounder to first. Traber fielded it on the hop. Tried to flip it to Olson covering the bag. But there were 2 people converging, Mattingly and Olson, in a haze of dirt. Let's see what happens. Traber, bare hand pickup, does a sidearm throw. Olson tries to catch it in his midsection, and he drops the ball. The error is going to be on Olson, the pitcher. Even though the ball was thrown in a somewhat awkward spot, right? Sometimes it's difficult to catch. Like, you know, when you position your glove, you've got like this arcing range, but then there's sometimes that one spot, or like right in your gut, it's like hard to position the glove to catch. Either way, it's an error on Olson, and now the Yankees have the tying runs on. And Mel Hall at the plate, first pitch swinging, a swing and a miss. Two runners on base. The second of which represents the tying run. Mel Hall at the plate represents the winning run. 2 down here in the bottom of the 9th. An 0-1 count. Crowd making noise. The pitch is a fastball beauty. Outside corner, belt high, and Hall turns around to argue. There's been a lot of arguing with the home plate umpire today, but give the guy a break. He took a fastball off the noggin. Hall bending his body as far down as he can, like he's Ricky Henderson, to try to shrink the strike zone, but the umpire wasn't having it. He says, nope, that's the high part of the zone, kid. You can keep ducking all you want. As the Yankees are again down to their last strike. The 0-2 pitch is outside corner, but Olson can't get the call. Inch or two off the plate outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-4 Orioles here in the bottom of the 9th. Yankees have the tying runs on. Quirk puts a sign down. He puts two fingers down, then a couple of ones, but he's pointing to the outside. The pitch from Olsen is swung on and grounded into right field. No, it's in. This awful. I blow the final call of the game. Oh, a low res VCR game. I thought that ball snuck into right field. It is indeed fielded by Jim Traber. He goes to tag the bag to end this ball game, and the Orioles hold on to win this one, as Dave Johnson will get the win, Greg Olson will get the save, and a 6-4 final over the New York Yankees. The Orioles maintain first place in the American League East, picking up another half game on the Blue Jays, while the Yankees continue to scuffle several games under 500. Congratulations all around, and there's a shot of your MVP of today's game, Joe Orsulak, who did it all at the plate today. 3 hits with a couple of homers, a sac fly, a walk, and scored a huge insurance run in the top of the 9th to help the team get the win. The Orioles improved to 10 games over 500 with 32 games left in the season. Well, this has been another edition of Retro Play Call. I'm Steve, your announcer, and I hope you guys, if you're watching, go ahead and maybe hit that like button and subscribe to my fledgling channel. If you're a fan of the Baltimore Orioles, if you're a fan of Major League Baseball in general, I think you'll find this to be a good channel. You'll certainly get plenty of the passion as we see an ad for Ghostbusters 2 to wrap it up. Can we please see that again? That was absolutely precious. There's like an ad for Ghostbusters 2. There it is. There you go. And that's how it ends. Yep, I remember 1989, Ghostbusters 2. That's right. Summer of 89. 12-year-old Steve, reliving some memories. Thank you, Steel City. Thank you, Jeff. And I think Poole was here earlier. Again, I'm not expecting much of a crowd. Oh, yeah, Giants fan, thank you, too. You're hanging here for a while. Rhino. RC, Thomas. Wow, I actually got to 9. I almost got the double-digit likes. Wow. That's crazy. It's like this channel I just started has already caught up to the other channel that I've been working on for like a year and a half. Okay, either way, thanks for tuning in, guys. I had a blast. The Orioles with a 6-4 win in the Bronx on August 26, 1989, in case you didn't know. Stay tuned for the upcoming season and for more videos from me. Like and subscribe, will you? Thanks for hanging. Have a good one.